Echo and the Bunnymen are a really, really influential band and popular. They were one of the reasons why I started to play music in the very first instance. Seriously. Ian McCulloch was like really, really influential because, back in the day, for people to like get an acoustic guitar, put on like circular sunglasses and emulate Ian McCulloch was elementary. So lots of people did it. But not only that, many like dedicated followers of fashion would kind of, wear the same apparel. Again, the circular sunglasses and the hair. He had like amazing hair, and basically emulate Ian McCulloch. And again, like highly influential, but they themselves were influenced by the Velvet Underground primarily, the Doors, and television. But also, like many of the major bands have been influenced by them, like Coldplay. Chris Martin has like cited Echo the Bunnymen as like major influences. Indeed, there's even a kind of a mentorship between Ian McCulloch and Chris Martin. But also Johnny Buckland, the guitarist in Coldplay, elements of his style basically comes from the brilliant guitar player in Echo the Bunnymen, Will Sargent. So basically his style is coming out of Will Sargent's. Indeed, Ed O'Brien of Radiohead has cited Echo and the Bunnymen and Will Sargent as a major influence. And when he was talking, it was a case of we as opposed to him. So even though Ed O'Brien was given the interview, he was talking about Radiohead. Courtney Love has said like that Echo and the Bunnymen are more important to her than many other major musicians, major bands. And also cited Will Sargent as the best guitar player in the world as far as she's concerned. And he's an excellent guitarist. Noel Gallagher indeed called Ian McCulloch a legend. And he loves Echo and the Bunnymen. They had two classic hits that are perennial, stood the test of time. The Cutter and Killing Moon. Now, The Cutter is one of the reasons why I started playing music. Seriously. It's like, and I loved Echo and the Bunnymen's kind of meditative and contemplative aesthetic. Like they're kind of almost Eastern kind of, Eastern kind of elements kind of juxtaposed upon their kind of, their kind of rock aesthetic. It's really, really intriguing actually. But they also have like their albums are absolutely fantastic. All of their albums, and even Ian McCulloch's solo albums, they're amazing. And like Evergreen and Porcupine are excellent albums. But my favourite is Ocean Rain. That's an amazing album. But also Chris Martin has cited that as one of his favourite albums. And Noel Gallagher has called Ocean Rain a masterpiece. Now, do I have any intersections with Echo the Bunnymen? Yes. When I used to teach Cillian Murphy in the Wright Music Centre, I also taught this chap called John O'Mahony. And John was a really nice guitarist, but we shared an aesthetic. We kind of had fringes and kind of trench coats. That was our thing, and myself and John were kind of kindred spirits because of that. And John was the man. John influenced me because John is the man who basically showed me Sonic Youth and My Bloody Valentine. So that's where I found out about those bands from, John O'Mahony. And I taught John O'Mahony pretty much every Sonic Youth song from Sonic Youth to Goo. and he was a brilliant guy, great guy. Now, a Stern's digression. Aha basically had an MTV Unplugged album which they recorded in Norway, and it got into the top 5 in the charts actually, or it's actually top 10 in the charts. And Ian McCulloch was a guest on that album, and John O'Mahony was an engineer on that album. And John O'Mahony has also engineered several albums by Coldplay, and Coldplay are holistically influenced by Echo the Bunnymen. Thank you very much for listening.